Hey there, fellow citizen of the internet. Welcome to the Moses Kabandana Podcast. Today I have with me Ivete Moraes. I hope I did not butcher the last name there. And we're going to be talking about, well, actually, Ivete, welcome to the Moses Kabandana Podcast. Let us know what it is that we're going to be yapping about today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me today here, Moses. Well, let me correct, it's Yvette Moraes. So now you know exactly the name and surname. Um,
Yeah.
well, I'm very excited to be here to dive into a topic that I'm really passionate about, extremely passionate about, which is mindset. So
Mindset.
the idea is to have mindset as how we can harness mindset, the power of mindset to transform career paths. And
Mm,
being myself into this journey where I had to change careers, um, and then I ended up in the coaching business, which is career and mindset coaching. So I was a senior executive in the finance industry in London, and it was a successful business for many, many years. But at some point, I felt myself that something was going wrong. I was completely dissatisfied. I was feeling stuck. And and at the beginning, I thought that it was something because the project that I was in wasn't that good, and then perhaps I wasn't connected with that. But those symptoms, start growing and growing, and I was feeling more dissatisfied. I was feeling really stressed all the time. I couldn't cope with the team, and suddenly I realized that I need a change because this is something that uh, there's a sign here that's saying that I'm not in a I'm not happy. I'm not feeling on the place that I would like to be. So that's why when I started looking for professional help, and uh, and then since then was a journey when we start digging really deep inside to discover exactly what are my true values, what are my passions, what are my aspirations, and what do I want. So basically, you have to do a real transformation in yourself, and bringing up the real you, what you want in your life. And that's why um, I decided that coaching is really something that makes me happy, that bring me this passion. And obviously, no, passing this information for people, something that I've been through, it's it's just the right thing to do for me. So, and also always being into personal development, and where
mm,
understanding, ourselves and understanding what we want in life, it's paramount.
Okay. I appreciate that the brief overview there. So you would say that you are a career coach that kind of that focuses on mindset and specifically how that relates to career growth, right?
Yeah, well, in my coaching business, my focus, my niche is to help professional women that are feeling stuck in their careers, they're feeling dissatisfied, they're feeling unmotivated, and to transform their work lives into something really meaningful, purposeful, and rewarding. So I create mindset transformation method, and also I'm life coaching and NLP certified, which I use those techniques and apply, to my clients, and to see this transformation in them. But it's not only about the career growth. Uh, People come to me with the same symptoms that I mentioned to you before that I had, but every situation is different because every person is different. So some of them, they are just not satisfied in the role that they have in the moment. So they need to adjust, they need to understand a bit more, be more resilient, they need to be understanding about themselves in order how do they respond certain challenges into persons. Others, they really know that their career doesn't mean anything them to them, so they're looking for a real change. And even other people decided I don't even want to go back to work. I'm dreading to work. I wanting something more meaningful for my life. I want to have control of my life, and I want to be an entrepreneur. So how can I do that? What are the steps to
mm,
get there?
mm,
So
yeah.
I I included a mindset in the career coaching because mindset is fundamental. It's the foundation of how you can proceed change in your life. Of course, there's a lot of more things that you can when you dig in personal development and then you go into your personal emotional sides and all those feelings that you have. It's a lot of other tools that are important, but mindset is one of the main ones. And I when I work on career professional women's, I work specifically on the emotional side, what they have to do, because people in general, they are 80%, their emotions, the way they are, what they want, their and 20% are their strategies. So if they don't have this foundation of knowing what they want and discover,
Mm,
their values, aspirations, and true passions, they they can have all the strategies in the world, but it's not going to work because at some
mm,
point
mm,
they ended up getting stuck again. The same situation will happen, and this is not what you want because you're here to have joy and
right.
be happy. So
Mm, mm,
that's why having this uh, dealing with the emotional side, dealing with all those aspects in your life, it's the foundation.
okay, okay. So that's where you are today. And just for the audience that is tuning in, where are you calling from?
I'm coming from London.
Okay, okay, okay. So
Yeah.
you're in London today, and on the career side, you're helping women in the professional field develop and transform. But where are you? What are your foundations? Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Well, I'm originally from Brazil, and I always had this kind of kick of knowing myself, understanding myself. I've been through since I graduated in university. I That big question came: what I'm going to do professionally? And for
Mm,
me,
mm,
was really difficult because some people they already know exactly that what they want to do, but
right.
I was kind of 90% of the population that know. And now what I'm going to do? And
Mm,
obviously, there are social patterns where your family puts some pressure on you, and then friends, and then the society itself in a way that you have to follow those paths. If you don't follow
mm-hmm,
this, you are not normal. So you have to
mm,
find
mm,
something. So I went through university. I started as in literature. I, I enjoyed at some point, but then I give it up, and then I back to another course where I did communication, and I finalized university, but still the same problem. What is exactly, start working because I had to, again, following those
mm,
paths. And I've been, changing careers. And when I received this invitation to work for an American company, and they asked me to work for a company in Spain. I mean, to develop the company in Spain.
mm,
And but in the middle of the way, they decided that they want me in London, so that's why I'm here for 20 years. And I had a very successful career. At the beginning was something that gave me some and I was proud of that. Everything that we built and all the business, all in general, what everything that I did was I'm not regretting anything. But
mm,
as I
mm,
mentioned to you, is something that when it's not really what is your passion, what's really aligned with you, with your visions and with your soul, at some point it will backfire.
mm,
Took
mm,
some time to do that, but perhaps I had other kind of symptoms. because stress is one of them. But
mm,
you go on your comfort zone sometimes, and
right.
change is something difficult. So that's coming from Brazil, having this diversity of culture helped me a lot. I lived in Spain as well, and uh, I was very grateful for all my path. Uh,
Mm,
but now it's the path where I feel myself, where I can say this is aligned with that. This is talk about me, which is finding myself and helping other women finding themselves professionally. it's
mm.
it's priceless.
Okay, okay. Thanks for describing your journey here. So, where in Brazil were
I'm
you
from
born?
I'm from the south of Brazil
Okay,
and close to Argentina, Uruguay, and
okay,
it's a lovely area to live. Whereas the
okay.
only part of Brazil that's we have the winters, um,
Mm, mm,
and it's a great place.
okay. And what was your first job?
Well, my first job was in a bank, and
Mm,
at some point, um, I was interested in that.
mm-hmm,
Feels exciting. No, first job is something that you always feel that because human being we are very connected with the new. We enjoy the new,
right,
but
right.
when the new is something that is not fulfilling you, that new start getting goes to a more uh, plateau, and
Mm,
then
mm,
you
mm.
go into the cycle where you work on something because you have to, because of the money,
Yeah,
because you cannot work. But
right.
initially, yeah, it was a bank, and then I changed to other industries later on.
Hmm, hmm. Okay. So okay. So I have a slightly of a bigger picture now.
Mhm.
Okay. So then you mentioned earlier that you mentioned the word passion, right? If you can find the intersection between what you are passionate about and earning an income and bringing those two together, would you say that that would be one of the goals that you try to help people achieve?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's why mindset. It's a really important thing because um, if you're going to work, you can be very you can be an exceptional worker or entrepreneur where you have loads of strategies, and then you have you making money, and
Mm,
even though multimillionaire people that they feel that they know the strategy, but it doesn't mean they're happy. No.
mm,
So
mm.
and vice versa. No, perhaps if you're happy, but sometimes you desire to have some achievements in your life that's related to the physical world. No. So
Yeah.
this means that the combination are doing what is your passion and
Mm,
having the revenue and having the financial stability that you want is the ideal, where you can have
yeah.
both in this situation. So that's why when you have mindset where you are able to put yourself in a position uh, where you can do things, where you feel confident with yourself to go such to seek something that is really what you want. So when you have the right mindset, you will try for sure.
Hmm. Okay, well, so let's dissect this term here for a second of mindset. It's an umbrella that at least in the podcasting space and in the online communities, it is thrown around left and right all the time. I just want to make sure that we are on the same page on what we mean by mindset.
Mhm.
So from a coaching side of things, like what does that mean? I'm sure you're not just referring to behavior, as in like how we react to stress. Although of course that's part of it, but like what do you mean when you say that you're trying to help people transform their mindset within the confines of profession?
Yeah, interesting question, Moses. Yeah, because many professionals they reach a point in their careers, as I said, where they feel stuck. But when they arrive, what is the main problem? Is not sometimes it's not the job itself, but it's the way they think about it. So
Mm,
when your
okay.
mindset is focused on I'm not confident, or this is not for me, or I'm not going to be able to achieve that, or perhaps I don't feel secure in taking the actions. This is all mindset, because
Mm,
this is what is going to uh, not allow you to go to get this step forward. Because when you think that they're not able to do that, or you don't have the confidence for that, or another thing, important thing is that you're going to think that if you're going to change your career, you the first thing is that, but I'll have to start all over, or
mm, mm,
I'm going to be losing everything I built. So your mindset get in this situation where the fear comes up. So this is one of the techniques where you turn fear or failure into motivation, because
mm,
the fear that I'm talking is there are two types of fears, that we human beings we have. The first is the fight and flight, which is our body's survival mechanism, which is perfect because it protects us from any harm. But I'm not talking
yeah.
about this fear. I'm talking about the fear that something that is illogical, where mainly
Mm,
we
mm,
think we have fear for something that might happen that we don't even know if it's going to happen. Probably not. So we
yeah.
create those fears. And that's why we have to, with the mindset techniques, we have to, just have control of this fear, because the fear will always be there and is part of growth. So there's
Yep.
no other way. It's always with us, but we have to have this under control. And then your mindset with the techniques of NLP and the other techniques, that visualizations that I use, and then having control of that, and then you're going to be able to go forward and then really understand that this is a part of the process.
Mm. Well, so one of the things that comes to mind often is like when I'm trying to shift directions, right? So, for example, 3 months ago, maybe 5 months ago, I decided to turn this podcasting endeavor into a business, right? So it's like, well,
Mhm.
I've been doing podcasting for some time. I love, this whole podcasting thing. Why don't I teach people to create their own podcasts? And so I'm already doing something that I like doing. So why don't I try to make an income from it? But there is still this. There was this giant fear, right, of the fear of failure, right? So that it's like, okay, I'm gonna try this thing, and but now it's gonna be responsible for my livelihood. So I guess what I'm trying to get to here is can
Mhm.
you touch on the importance of the fear of failure, right? Because there's a part of me that was like, well, if we don't try, at least we won't fail, right? But that's not exactly the proper way to look at it. So can you elaborate a little bit more on the importance of or
Yeah.
just the role of fear of failure?
Well, actually, fail doesn't exist. It's just something, again, that we create. Because when you
Mm,
have proper mindset, you see failures as learning experiences. So that's why, again, I
right.
have to come back to the mindset, because when your mindset is right, that you you want to you want to move forward, you want to change something, and you have the right mindset, you don't see failure. You say, well, I'm going I'm going to learn something. This is an asset for me. This is something that will bring experience for me. I might go to one direction, but and then I got my own guidance, my own knowledge, and in all senses, emotionally and skills, that
Mm-hmm.
I know that, if I'm going to one side and this is not the right one, I'm going to try the other one. And this is learning experiences. So when you see this, you don't see failure, you don't see setbacks. You see that
Mm.
are situations where in life where you just adjusting, learning, and this is actually what we're doing here. We're learning. So failure is because we use failure. It's because the mind trying to protect itself and sees something that's going to harm you, because the mind is always lives in a survival mode. So
Mm.
when you
Mm.
change the mindset, and then you can see those challenges, as something that's going to bring value to your life, and then the fear, it's loses his control, and you go with the
Right.
fear,
Right.
but
Right.
the fear doesn't control you, you control the fear.
Okay.
You see the
Yeah.
difference?
Yeah. Yep. 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 I like that. I like that because it's not the lack of fear per se. It's not that like when I choose to do something that I'm afraid of, all of a sudden I stop being afraid. It's that I've confronted that fear and I faced it. So like for example, I was having a conversation. Maybe it was like 2 days ago. I was playing a game with some friends, and a year and a half ago, I went through the pilot training and I got my pilot's license. And so we were kind of talking about what that was like. And at some point, I mentioned how I am afraid of heights, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guys was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, like that doesn't. How does that make any sense? Like, how can you be a pilot and be afraid of heights at the same time?" And I had to share with him that the pilot examiner that was examining me, he was a pilot, a commercial pilot for 30 years. And when I opened up to him for about being afraid of heights, he was like, "Oh my goodness, I've been a pilot for 30 years and I too am afraid of heights." So it was that it's not that like, we the point I'm trying to make here is that we still have that fear of heights, but we don't let the fear control us, right? So I think that kind of goes hand in hand
Okay.
with what
Okay.
what you're
Yeah.
saying there.
Okay.
And so but when it comes to failure in my mind, it's like I still I look at it. Sometimes I'm a bit more analytical, right? So it's like I have a goal. Here is what success in this goal means. Here's what not achieving this success means. In this case, I'm going to label that lack of success as failure. But I don't let the lack of success in achieving this goal be the end of it, right? So it's like I aimed at something, I missed. Here is what I learned in my pursuit of this goal, and now we're gonna try again. Right? So I think that kind of falls in line with what you're saying. It's a bit different though because I still label it as failure. Maybe that's a different mindset.
Yeah, well,
But
the label itself is, I mean, ideally, obviously, you if you change your mindset when you manage to think in a different way, have a different
mm-hmm,
perspective, you're not going to call a failure anymore, because your mind
mm-hmm,
it's working in another mode. So and this is something that is part of your life, and then even you take it as a fun experience, and not as something that hold you back, something that's gonna give you this feeling that uh, you're gonna blame yourself for the failure, or you're gonna even the even worse, when you just think about what others are gonna think about you, and then you need the approval of others. This is another aspect of the mindset, that we have to release the need of others people's approval. So the only person that we
mm-hmm,
have to approval we need our approval, it's our own approval. So when you think that this this is now part of your life, and then this is it's a completely perspective, it's a complete view. Imagine mindset is, like a lens through which you view the world.
Yeah.
If it's clouded, you're going to see only obstacles in front of you everywhere. But if you shift this perspective, and then you can see possibilities, you can see opportunities, and then you can tackle those opportunities in a much better way. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, that's why, my point is always, working on your mindset, which is the
Yeah.
foundation.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So I have you mentioned that you have like about 10 different strategies to help people transform their mindsets. Um, I'm gonna try to tackle on like the top three of your of some of the
Mm-hmm.
strategies there. But before we dive into that, uh, when you were like, let's say between, let's like before you were 15 years old, did you have like a favorite band or favorite artist or like a song that you always had on repeat?
Or yeah, I get loads. I remember. I think it was
What was your favorite?
YouTube. Yeah, YouTube was one of my favorites, and
Any
um,
particular song?
I can't remember right now. But yeah,
Okay, okay.
definitely they were. And also other singers. I love Elton John was one of the great ones for me. And
Mm.
uh, yeah,
Did you do
I
any
think I
sports?
think Uh, I'm not a sport girl, to be honest. I've
Okay,
always been
okay.
in dance. I was gym and Pilates, and this is my world when I feel, I like to feel fit, but
Okay, okay,
but
okay.
sport is something that always been uh, tried a few things, tennis and but it's not my thing.
Tennis, tennis. I think in my
Yeah,
entire life I've probably played tennis 5 times, maybe, maybe. But I
yeah.
should get into it. You also mentioned that you spent some time in Spain and now you're in London. Did you grow up speaking English?
Um, well, I had English in the school, but I also, when I was quite young, I think around like 12, 13, and then I started studying English in a proper English school in my city.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, English has been always a language that I've been in contact with, and also,
Mm,
being close to Uruguay and Argentina, we used to go a lot to those countries
mm,
and on holidays. And I did some courses as well in Brazil. So that's why, this American company, one of the reasons that they need someone that speak the language and already lived there. So that's
mm,
why I
mm.
was the perfect profile for them to work. And
Yeah.
and Spain is a lovely country.
Mm, mm. So you're pretty fluent in Spanish.
Yeah, yeah, indeed.
When you dream, do you dream in Portuguese?
Mm, Now it's mixed. It's more. I would say that it's more English than Portuguese.
Okay.
Yeah, but even though
Huh.
it's mixed, yeah, yeah, might happen with you the same, no? Or you might more in English than Portuguese.
Now it's more English.
English.
Hardly ever Portuguese. But it's like there's a group of people that speak the same languages that I speak, and so
Mhm,
when I'm hanging out with them, then it's either Portuguese that comes out or Spanish or Kinyarwanda, whatever language comes out, because they understand all of them.
mhm,
But at the beginning, so just for a little bit of context, I've learned and forgotten like 7 languages. So there's some languages that I barely know some things like that are
mhm,
still there from infancy.
mhm,
And so, for example, when I'm kind of mad, uh, when I curse in a certain, it's always Mashangan that comes out. Mashangan is just like dialect in southern Mozambique, and it's
Mozambique.
called yeah, from Maputo. And so when I'm mad, Mashangan comes out. I'm no longer fluent in that language. It's just that part of the brain is still, it's still there.
Hmm.
So yeah, super weird. But okay. So just that was a short detour there. But the I want to touch on some of like three solid strategies that you incorporate in helping people transform their careers. But before we dive into that, I want to touch because you try to target women, right? And I want to touch on the age-old question of balancing the pursuit of a professional career
Hmm.
and while raising a family. So and even more specifically, like for women between, let's say, 25 and 35, right? Were you trying to cement your career? You're trying to pursue, maybe trying to get a higher position, promoted, but then at the same time, it's the time frame where raising a family becomes enters the mind. How do you approach that, or like is this even a thing that women come to you for? And if so, how do you uh, yeah, advise someone in
Yeah,
in this case?
well, yeah, good question, Moses. I don't go into exactly this time management in terms of, taking consideration her personal status in terms of, having children or being married, because in a sense that analyzing, her structure, but
Mm,
we dive into the career itself also, because coaching is something that you resolve. You have the client comes with a problem, and we have to find a solution. So where you are now and where you want to be. So
mm,
it depends of the situation and the problem that the client brings it to me, and then we're going to work out uh, to find the solution together. So I'm going to guide the client in order to find a solution. So as they know that I'm focused on career and people that have issues with their career, uh, obviously know at some point, some of my clients comes the situation where they feel the pressure, where they have their family, and then they have to share how they're going to balance this life, personal life, and career life, when they have exactly the situation where you mentioned, which is perfect, when someone have to seeking for a promotion, or getting, another job or a new job. So when they have to balance this with their life situation, and especially the ones that having younger kids, and
mm,
I always try to make them focus on their goals.
mm,
If this is what you want, you have to get this focus. Otherwise, you're not going to get the results that you want. So knowing your priorities first, if the person knows what she wants, so in order to get from A to B, they have to have some focus and work on this in a way that they have to prioritize what is important. So, and then obviously, no, there are some strategies that we can, guide and then help clients to, in order to prioritize those things. Because coaching, we don't say, unless you are mentoring, which is a different situation now.
mm, mm.
uh, but coaching is guidance. So when I say guidance, I'm not going to say to you what you have to do. I'm going
Right,
to
right.
ask you questions where you're going to find your answer. So you will end it up finding out. So, oh, okay, yeah, I think I find a way, and this is what resonate with me, and this is what I'm going to
Mm,
do. But we have to guide you to that, and so that's why I never, unless again. the client says, no, I need some mentoring, how can I manage, because I'm having too much pressure. It's a different
Yeah.
situation where I put my experience and my knowledge on something that uh, I know what works. But usually on the
Yeah.
coaching itself, it's guidance. I don't know if I
Okay.
replied
Well,
to your
so
question.
no, yeah, that helps. But speaking of guidance, then, huh? When it comes to negotiating for a raise, for example, right? Because I think this is one thing that I might be speaking out of my rear end here, but women tend to be more agreeable than men, and so women tend to not forthrightly ask for a raise, like directly as for a raise. How do you help women negotiate for a raise, if that's even a thing that someone would come to you with?
Um, this is not a usual question for me because, again, I work on the emotional side. So the strategies in
Okay,
terms of,
okay,
how to negotiate or how to,
yeah,
elevate the curriculum or how to speak with HR in the company.
yeah, yeah,
This is a different area where I don't deal so much. So I'm more
okay,
focused on the strategies that you
okay,
have to have in order, to emotionally be ready to jump
yeah.
to what you want.
Well, okay, so let's touch on like three different mindset strategies then, that you tend to that you most often incorporate when helping people in their professional
Yeah.
careers.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, there are, in LLP we got loads of techniques, and then I use different ones, and they are amazing. They work, brilliantly. But one of my favorites one is visualization. Visualization is it's something that it's incredible, and it's incredibly powerful tool because I say to my clients, picture yourself in your ideal role. What does that you feel like? What are
Mm,
you achieving? So basically, what happens is this kind of it's a kind of mental rehearsal that helps reduce the self doubt, and this is because you're training your brain to create new neural pathways. So when you visualize, your mind is creating those new neural pathways, which will reduce the self-doubt. When you have more confidence,
mm,
you go more directly to what you want. Okay. But there's a big secret here, Moses, that almost no one applied to this, which I'm
mm,
gonna tell the secret now. The secret is you can visualize, you can try to visualize when you are in a negative place.
mm,
What
mm,
happens
mm,
is it will backfire on you. People usually know, think, I'm going to imagine my ideal role and my career, and then everything's going well. But if you are in a negative state, you are just getting annoyed with that because you don't,
mm, mm,
this something that doesn't resonate with you, and then you feel worse. So what you have to do, we all humans, we all got something that is called emotional guidance scale. So it's an emotional system where you go from
mm,
joy and fulfillment to fear, anger, despair, disagreement. So when you are in this negative feeling, and when you
mm,
try, to vibrate in this positive one, there's no, it doesn't resonate. So that's why when you
mm,
visualize, when you are in this scale, you are in the lower part of the scale, and then it's not going to resonate. So, and then it's going to make it worse. So what happens when, basically what you have to do is try to visualize when you know that you're feeling good, you're feeling, calm,
mm.
and you're feeling
Yeah, yeah.
satisfied. And then you create this visualization, and then this is going to bring you, is going to create those neural paths in your brain, because the brain doesn't know if it's if it's happening, if it's real, or if it's not. It's just happening in the mind, and the mind accepting this as something that is happening. So, and then you create confidence, because this neural pathway is growing to this confidence, going to this confidence. So when you are, if you first see that you are, in a lower level, are in a lower vibration, you have to build up this, and feeling a bit better. Don't try to go to the scale up to, now I'm feeling worry, and then, no, but
Mm,
now I want to feel joy. I want to feel joy. Doesn't work like this anyway, because
mm, mm, mm,
when you try to go straight away to, a high vibration level, it has to be one step at a time. From worry, you feel a bit better, and then when you start feeling, that you are again in a state that you're feeling calm, and then you visualize. And when you visualize, when you are in a positive state of mind, it
mm.
works its magic.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
that makes sense. That makes sense because it keeps you from. I like to think that whenever you go from one extreme to another within a very short period of time, there's a lot of discomfort that it's probably not good. So if you go from super cold water and jump into really really hot water, no bueno. So I think what
No
you're saying
bueno.
is like allow allow yourself to not try to like all of a sudden visualize amazing things when you are like in in deep dark state of mind. It's that just wait a little bit. Once you are in a maybe something that approximates a neutral state, then try to visualize the yeah your ideal goal. What the thing one of the first things that comes to mind
Excellent.
is
Okay.
I think I think it was like Dr. Jordan Peterson that said one of the things that he used to try to like knock down from people's mindsets when it came to retiring. So it's a little bit outside of the scope of this conversation, but it's a lot of people will come to him. They say they're in their late 50s and retiring is knocking on the door, or they just retired. It's been like a year or two, and when they envisioned themselves retiring, they always envisioned themselves sitting on the beach and drinking a margarita, right? And it was his job to let them like truly bring the reality into it, because it's like, okay, so that's what retirement looks like to you. Okay, so fine. Let's be a bit more specific. You're laying on the beach, you get your first drink, it's 10 a.m., it's 12 p.m. Like, what time are you having your first drink? Oh, I don't know, 1 p.m., in the afternoon. Okay, 3 hours later, what are you doing then? Are you still drinking a margarita every hour? So now you're an old man laying on the beach that is drunk. Does that sound like retirement? Then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, visualizing the abstract of visualization worked up to a certain reality or up to a certain extent, and then when you bring the specifics of reality, then it's like, okay, maybe I need to be even more specific in how I visualize this. So again, I said that was a detour from the main point
Hmm.
here, but I like the power of visualization. I like that.
Yes,
um,
yes,
and more
yes. I'm a
specifically the
fan.
fact
I'm a
that
fan as well. So the second one that is my favorite, that people sometimes say, but it doesn't work for me. It's I try, but it doesn't work. It's again, it's related to uh, positive affirmations, where some
mm,
people say, well, for me, it's something that I do. I got a client that she loved positive affirmations, and one of the techniques that I gave to her, and then she said, no, give me, because this is something I'm able to. I know that this is I feel that I have positive results when I do my positive affirmations. And then she was thinking uh, 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 on I'm capable, I'm growing, and she uses this
mm,
every
mm,
day. But positive affirmations, it's the same thing as visualization in a way to work. If you're not in a good state, if you're not in a positive state, the positive affirmations will backfire you because you're going to say, I'm
Mm, mm,
capable, I'm growing in a moment that you feel,
right,
terrible. And then you say, where I'm growing, where I'm capable of what? It's just at
right,
the moment I
right.
just feel despair. And then
Yeah, yeah.
I just can't say this. It's for me, it sounds fake. And and
Mm,
and
mm,
it's not gonna work. But positive affirmations, when you use in the correct way, they are powerful. And I think the other one that I consider a powerful one is
mm,
you have to focus on what you control. Because
mm.
Moses,
Okay, okay.
you can control external factors. You can
Mm,
control your boss mood, you can control the economy, but you can control your mindset, your actions, and how you respond to challenge and to people. So when you manage, to understand that your world is the one that you have to deal with and forget about the rest in a way that it's out of your business and also it's out of your control, and then you're gonna have you have the ability to be responsible for yourself. And when you get this
mm,
responsibility, it's again it's a mindset uh, shift, because you don't care what's happening outside. Because usually I've been dealing with clients that a few of them would say, no, I don't say loads of them, the main problem is that they put themselves like a victim. And well, this doesn't
mm, mm.
happen because because of this, because of that, because of the my boss didn't really give some value to my work, or he didn't want to give me the raise, or because of
Mm.
that they put someone in my position that wasn't fair. So it's always we blame something outside or someone,
Yeah, yeah.
which is when you not focus on what you can control. And we always be vulnerable. And this is a key. This is very important. So
Yeah,
to
I
recap,
agree. I
visualization, positive affirmations, and focus on what you can control, for me, are the three things that you should work with.
Hmm, hmm. I like that. I have all that written down. I like to say that I guess to touch on that last point there, focusing on what we control. One of my go-to, I guess, sayings, I suppose,
Mhm.
is that try to do whatever you can to minimize unnecessary suffering, or ask yourself what role are you playing in your own suffering, right? That kind of allows you to stop being a victim in a sense. It's like and saying, okay, there's a situation I'm going through, and there's a chance that I am playing a role in this, and what is that thing that I'm doing that is contributing to the suffering, and how can I minimize that? So one of the things that that does is you're taking responsibility on the things that you can actually control and trying to work with that. Um, Ivete, it's been a very, very good conversation. It's crazy that we're at the top of the hour already.
Yeah,
It's been,
so amazing. I love
yeah.
it as
So,
well. Really good. And just to finalize, the one important thing is I would say to your audience, try to use those techniques and see, apply them if they are in a situation that one of them resonates with them. Then try to apply one of those techniques and see how it goes. But obviously, no, it has to see results. Go for at least for 90 days on this, and then you can
mm,
see results on these kind of things. And another thing is, which is important, if you are in a position where you feel that you want to change your career, it's paramount that you look for some professional help, because that will happen with me when I was in the situation where I was feeling dread, I was feeling stressed, I was feeling horrible and unfulfilled. uh, the only way was, I had a professional coach that guide me, that put me on the journey that I want to, and
Hmm.
because if you try to do some strategies, some techniques here and then, at some point you're going to slip back. So you need accountability.
Mm-hmm.
You need someone that get your hand and say, okay, I'm going to guide you, and then
Yeah.
we're going to do it. And that's it's also very important. But yeah, what's a pleasure.
Awesome,
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing a lot of these mindful strategies. I really like the positive affirmation ones. Not because they work for me. I'm not there yet. Like I don't, I don't do that yet. But I was listening to a book by 50 Cent of all people, and he was
Uh-huh.
talking about how he learned about the power of positive affirmations, and for him it was the word I am. So I think that was the word. So whenever he's going through
Yeah.
whatever, that's a bit too much. He just sits down maybe 5 minutes every day and just says I am, I am, I am, and it's just it fills his cup, right? And
Right.
so
Yeah.
it might not work for me, it might not work for someone else. I haven't tried it yet. I'm sure it would. So being able to visualize yourself where you want to be, and then speaking words of life into your own life, right? And then taking accountability and trying to take the smallest possible step that you can into ameliorating your own situation.
Yeah.
These three are really really powerful, and so thank you
Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
for bringing these
Thank
on
you.
here.
Thank you for having me. It was a real pleasure being here, with you, with with your audience. And then I hope those little tricks can help them, to make them their personal and professional life better.
Yeah, and if people want to know more about you, where do they find you?
Yeah, well, you can find me on my website, Yvette Moraes, YvetteMoraes.com, or on Instagram, which is Yvette Moraes Coaching, also on LinkedIn. Um, and those are the channels you can contact with me.
Awesome, awesome. A happy Monday to you.
Yeah, happy Monday as well. Thank you so much, Moses. Bye.
Of course, of course. Bye, bye.